Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer and set the stage for solving what might be the medical coder's greatest mystery, handling vague documentation like a true detective. If you've ever stared at a medical record and thought, wait, that's it? That is literally all the provider wrote? Well, you're in the right place. Today, we're going to master ICD-10-CM guideline IA-9B and learn exactly how to navigate the ambiguous, the vague, and the totally incomplete.
So let me ask you right off the bat, what's your next move when the clinical evidence just runs cold? You're reading through the chart, hunting for a specific diagnosis, but the clues, they just aren't there. Do you guess? Do you just pick a code that sounds, close enough? As coding detectives, we have to rely entirely on the evidence presented to us. So when that evidence is lacking, we need to know exactly how the coding system expects us to respond.
All right, Section 1, defining unspecified. The real beauty of the ICD-10-CM system is that it completely anticipates this exact problem. It gives us a strict, clear rule so we absolutely do not have to guess. Unspecified codes are used when the medical record does not provide enough detail to assign a more specific code. I mean, the system might have these incredibly detailed codes available, but if the provider's notes are vague, like they just write upper respiratory infection with zero extra details, you can't use those specific codes. We simply cannot invent evidence that isn't on the page. Moving right along, Section 2, the NOS connection. When you're searching for your code, you always start in the alphabetic index, right? Well, there's a massive clue waiting for you there. You're going to see the abbreviation NOS. That stands for not otherwise specified. Honestly, you should think of NOS as a giant flashing neon sign that literally translates to unspecified. It's your direct signal from the index guiding you straight to an unspecified code when you verify it over in the tabular list. NOS is just the system's way of saying, hey, if your documentation is incomplete, go this way. Okay, Section 3, spotting the patterns. Now, once you actually get into the tabular list, how do you quickly recognize that you're looking at an unspecified code? Well, here is a massive pro tip. The ICD-10-CM system leaves structural clues for you. Unspecified codes frequently follow specific numerical patterns. You're going to very commonly see them identified by a .9 in the fourth or sixth character position, or a .0 in the fifth character position. Recognizing these structural patterns instantly validates that the code you're selecting matches the lack of detail in your documentation. It speeds up your coding, and honestly, it really boosts your confidence. But like any good mystery, there's sometimes a twist. What happens if the system doesn't provide a dedicated unspecified code for a particular category? In those rare cases, the other specified code actually pulls double duty and represents both other and unspecified. Oh, and a quick side note, depending on your manual's publisher, like if you're using an Optum coding manual, unspecified codes might actually show up in a shaded gray box. It's just a handy little visual aid from the publisher, not a strict guideline rule, but definitely something great to look out for.
Next up, Section 4, avoiding common pitfalls.
Knowing the rules is really only half the battle. Knowing where coders typically mess up, that is where you truly protect your accuracy. Listen up, because this is exactly where claim denials happen. Warning, do not assume the evidence. If the provider didn't write it, it didn't happen. Making clinical assumptions just to try and reach a more specific code, that leads straight to compliance risks, audit findings, and incorrect reporting. Your job is to translate the record, not write it.
Let's just run through these common coding traps real quick so you can steer clear of them. Number 1, confusing unspecified with other specified. Remember, other means the provider gave specific details, but the system itself lacks a code for it. Unspecified means the provider simply didn't give the details. Number 2, using a highly specific code when the documentation is vague. Number 3, avoiding unspecified codes entirely because you think they look bad. Look, if they are appropriate based on the documentation, you absolutely must use them. And finally, number 4, overcoding beyond the provider's documentation. Guessing or ignoring that NOS direction is a surefire way to fail an exam or an audit.
All right, Section 5, the MJ gem. So this is the absolutely crucial point we've been building up to. The ultimate takeaway rule that is going to anchor this entire guideline in your brain. If you remember literally nothing else from this explainer, remember this. Unspecified equals we don't know enough. It is really that simple. You read the chart, you look for the details, and if the provider did not give you enough information to pick a specific code, you don't know enough. And when you don't know enough, you are firmly in unspecified territory. This is the absolute golden rule of the medical coding detective. And just to really reinforce that, here's our secondary gem. If it's not documented, it's unspecified. We have to drive this home. The provider's documentation is the only evidence we can legally use. You might know the patient. You might even know their entire medical history. But for this specific encounter, if it isn't documented on the page right in front of you, you cannot code it as specific.
Bringing it all home now, Section 6 Summary, Coding the AMCI Way. Let's bring all these clues together for a final review of the exact thought process you need every single time you code. Walk through these steps before you finalize anything. Ask yourself, Step 1, is the documentation complete? Step 2, is clinical detail missing? If the answer is yes, detail is missing, then you move straight to Step 3. Not enough detail means you must use the unspecified code. Let that NOS in the index guide you, let the tabular list confirm it, and absolutely never stretch the truth of the medical record.
I want to leave you with this final, really powerful gut check question. Are you coding what is actually documented or what you assume? The next time you're faced with a frustratingly vague medical record, I want you to think back to this explainer. Embrace the unspecified code when the evidence demands it. Let the documentation be your one and only guide. Keep your coding sharp, keep it accurate, and I will catch you on the next explainer.